Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weekend Rental, episode 87. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. My name, it's Ryan. As always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
Hello, fellows.
And as always, if you enjoy our content, you can... let's keep it. If you enjoy our content, you can find all sorts of other great geeky related content, whether it's wrestling, video games, comics, movies, and more over at geekade.com. What's your geek? All right, nailed that one. So just for a bit of context, anyone listening, November is an interesting month for this podcast. We're shifting some dates around, recording some things ahead of schedule. So you were listening to this presumably at the end of November, around the 27th. We are recording it, though, right now, the 4th. Is that right?
It's November 4th.
All right. So it's barely November. We don't even have a president yet. That's how early in the month this is.
No president.
Nope. So take that with... Take that into mind when you're listening to this. We're pre-next-gen launch. We're pre-whatever happens over the course of November, really. So
we're right before everything.
We might be big. The last podcast. Who knows?
Yes. The world has ended. This is being uploaded to the cloud. We're hoping there's somebody left to listen to it. I don't know. As far as topics, I guess let's just start with next-gen, right? Because we're on the eve of it. It's happening next week. We've got PlayStation 5 consoles coming out. We're hearing potentially now there may be some stock in retail stores. Highly unlikely you're going to get one. Xbox has the X and the S coming out. So we've got 2 SKUs. Has anything changed? Nobody here has ordered or pre-ordered one, right?
No. I still think it's funny. The marketing of it just cracks me up with my son. He even knows what's coming up. And so we know the release dates. We know all of that stuff. And then when a new game drops, like Assassin's Creed, and they show the game, and then at the very end, it says, with the new, played on the new
upgrade.
Yeah. Xbox or whatever. And my son was like, see, they do have games. And I was like, no, because we could play that game on our Xbox, no problem. So, parents, it's very, very confusing. And even Ryan, we've talked about this a million times, but you've even had those moments where you're like, hey, I'm thinking about this, this, and this. And I'm like, which one are you talking about? Is this the new one? Is this the old one? What are we talking about? It's just hilarious how they're marketing this thing that parents are confused right now. Everyone's confused.
I think like one of the things that like really hammered it home and put it into perspective, if you weren't like paying that much attention to it, is The Verge put out an article today, and it's like every game available to play on the next PlayStation and Xbox, and it was this massive list, and it was like only PS5, only Xbox, and then it was like both. But then the entire list is like, I don't know, it's spreadsheet. I got my hands up here. You guys can't see this. It's like 2 screens of a spreadsheet full of games, but every game on that list is like Fortnite. It's like Rocket League.
Right.
Like, these aren't
free games.
Oh, man.
Don't count these. This doesn't make any sense. It's so sad. It's a sad little list.
I just don't know how you can get excited about it. Like, what are you going to do?
Why adopt?
I don't know. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm interested in now is the reviews have come out about the PlayStation controller.
Yeah,
and how
that looks good.
Like the haptic feedback on that does some things that, how do you describe that over audio? I guess it sounds exciting, but I don't actually know what that means either.
I think you're looking for taint tickling good is the description I'd go with. But yeah, the other thing is like, as I look at some of that, and I talked about this with Nate a little bit, and we had some time, so Andy and I discussed it, and I realized that as much as I don't see the value in early adopting this with this console generation, because there's not enough to play. So if you wait 6 months, presumably a year till next holiday, you're going to get Black Friday deals. You're going to get discounts. You're going to get hardware that is presumably better built, because first iterations of consoles are not that great. But then I found myself in this predicament of like, watching Bombcast and Jeff Gersman unbox the Xbox Series S. And he's
That's
just
the
like,
new one, right?
So it's the lesser powered new one. He's like, oh, this is so cute. It's so small. It's like a Wii. I was like, oh my gosh, that is adorable. And I was like, wait, that's $299. And I realized, like, oh, if I walk into a store and I see that, I'm gonna buy it. Do I want it? No. Do I need it? Hell no. But I'm gonna buy it because it's $299. Like, Microsoft is genius here. I already have Game Pass. I'm not gonna buy a fucking game for it. But for $300, I'm gonna throw it under a TV. I'll use it twice a year. But I mean, I just realized, like, it's the perfect SKU. Like, I give no craps, and I already know that I can't walk away from it.
Which is
they
funny.
got you on that one.
That text message you sent me, you know, you crapped all over it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I get this random text and I don't know how to even take it. Like, are you serious? Is this a joke? And you're like, no, for real. I'm like, okay, yeah, right. And no, I'm
I think
buying
you left
one.
it off with, like, I don't even understand what you're doing right now. And I was like, yeah, I'm you and me both, but I know what's going to happen. Like, that's not my goal to go out and get one. But inevitably,
if I see
the
one,
next
I'm
3
buying
months, I'm
it.
going to see one. Yeah, it's coming home with Papa. I mean, it's like, how do you not, really?
It sounds like the Ouya's sales pitch.
There's
it's
nothing
cheap. How do you
special
not?
about this box, but it's cheap. It runs things. Yeah. I don't know. I just figured, well, okay, it's my Xbox Game Pass machine that'll hook up to my upstairs living room, and sure. I mean, I'm not far enough invested into the Xbox ecosystem anymore with exclusives for me to justify buying physical games for anything they put out. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Neither are they. It seems like.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, like my Xbox One collection, as soon as my nephew bought that used one a couple years ago, I just like literally cleared out my shelf. I was like, here you go. Take these and play these. And he's always asking, like, do you want these back? I'm like, oh, no. I'm never going to touch that. It's fine. I got Game Pass now. I can play them.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be there will be that wow factor, right? Like with the PlayStation 5 and their exclusives, like your Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and like that will inevitably grab me at some point. But like,
not for now.
Fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Miles Morales, right? Like it's going to be on PS4. Like if I really wanted to play that, I can do it for $50 instead of $500. It's going to look good.
Yep.
It's
I
just
think Demon's Souls is the only thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a launch.
But also,
and
you
only
just
on there.
play it on your PlayStation 3. I mean, that's an option.
Yeah, it's true.
So, call me nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Thank you. Say that slower.
Nuts.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see where we land. Like maybe the next time we record an episode and upload in December, it's like, hey, we've all got PlayStation 5s. I doubt it, but it could happen.
It's not going to.
No.
If I can build up like some sort of like amalgamation of like coupons and trade-ins and shit like that at a GameStop, I might be able to. And that's only if they
good luck with that.
Yeah.
If they survive.
If they even make it that far.
Oh, that's one of my stories.
I have a GameStop story too.
Ooh, okay.
And I mean, yours is way better than mine, but this just proves how stupid GameStop is. I got a couple of guys that want to pick up some games for the Xbox that we can all play on like a Monday night. And so one guy placed the order for like 3 games or whatever. It's Diablo. It's nothing new. I don't know when I'm going to play.
You're abandoning me?
No.
We started Diablo on PlayStation. You keep bailing on me.
No.
I hate this story already, Nate.
No.
Hey,
Well,
I have
it doesn't matter
Xbox.
because the game's not even coming. So the game's not even showing up.
Right.
So
talk about the friends you're cheating on me with.
I'm not cheating with you. Stop. You're sweating me out. So anyways, he placed the order 2 weeks ago, and it said it was going to arrive by the end of next Friday. And then a message came out. Yeah, it hasn't shipped yet. Now it's going to be the 5th. And the 5th is tomorrow. Got an email today. Hasn't shipped out. And it hasn't even left the warehouse yet. And so, I mean, this is just classic GameStop, they say they have these things, and
These are all
shipping is the
used games, I
easiest
assume?
part. Shipping is the easiest part of the whole thing. So
And it's Diablo. I mean, it's like they have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have 8,000 copies of that just ready to like throw out.
yeah, it's so bizarre, and it's not a lot of copies. It's 2 copies. That's all
Right.
it is. So it just, I don't know. It's GameStop. I told him, I was like, don't order that. Don't order it. And he did. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens if they even show up. So just keeps on getting postponed.
Wow.
So that's what happened to me with Last of Us 2. Like, took forever for them to ship it. All the other stuff came, but not that. Not the game that they were trying to push.
And you're in a world where you have to be competitive with your shipping and your products.
Yeah.
There's a little thing called Amazon. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but they ship things out in 2 days. It's pretty incredible. So how can you even... Walmart does better than that, and Walmart sucks.
Dude, wait till they finish the distribution center here in Fargo. We're going to get stuff in like 6 hours from Amazon.
Heck yeah.
It's gonna be
Drones
glorious.
flying over us. It's going to be amazing.
Crashing off bridges, all sorts of fun.
Oh, that hurts. That one
Oh, yeah.
hurts.
Let's hear it. I didn't hear the story.
Oh, that hurts so bad. Did we not talk about this on the last podcast?
We teased it. We didn't talk about
Oh,
it.
guys. Drones. I have one. I love it.
Jerome or drones?
Jerome. I also have one of those. I have a DJI Mavic Air 2. It's
Had.
pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. I gotta go past tense. So I had this stupid idea. I still think it's great, but stupid idea of this video skit to do with Ryan, where I deliver an NES game to him via drone. And so I was like, you know what? I need to practice getting to him, like navigating to him. And so, Ryan, how many miles are we away? Maybe like 5 miles, 6 miles, something like that. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, as the
And,
crow flies, like 3, maybe 3 to 5.
Yeah,
Not
somewhere
far.
around there. So I started flying, and there's a couple of places that you have to stop, recharge battery, just because it's not going to make it that far. And so I hit the Red River of wonderful North Dakota, Minnesota border and started heading north towards Ryan's house. And then I got to the interstate, and I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I cross over the interstates? What are the laws on this? Could I go under the interstate? I'm going to go under the interstate. So I made it under the interstate, and I started, and I went past his house. I got lost, and I kept on going up on north on the river. And there's this one walking bridge with 4 poles, and I happened to hit just one pole. It wasn't intentional flying a certain way. It was the one pole in the whole vastness of North Dakota that I smashed my drone into, and it is now in the bottom of the Red River. I tried to find my drone. I have this GPS coordinates, and it just shows Red River and like just this blue dot somewhere.
Gosh.
It's funny. It also sucks because it's like $1,000 drone.
Yeah.
So that part sucks, but I don't know. Oddly, I wasn't that angry about it, but it was still stupid.
I laughed my ass off when you told me, and then kind of felt bad for laughing. And then you're like, no, it's funny. And
It
I think my
is.
favorite part was like, you must have told me, it was a few days after the fact, but then I told my kids like just casually in passing, because my kids have known that I've been kind of wanting to get a drone too. And then I mentioned like, oh yeah, Nate had one, and he hit that walking bridge in Lindenwood, because my kids know, well, we bike there. It's near our house. And then just my son's like priceless, like 6-year-old reaction, like, why? Why would he do that? Why? How did he just hit the pole? I was like, these are fantastic questions, son.
Call Nate up and
yeah,
ask
like,
him, because he's going to love that.
We need to set up a meeting. It was just great.
Yeah, so you
So
can
funny.
send your donations for a new drone to weekendpodcast.com. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So he can fly it right into the other river. Let's hit the Cheyenne the next time.
There's all these trees. There's so many trees, and I could have the ability to fly so high above them. But I was like, I'm getting some sweet shots, and apparently I didn't pay attention to exactly where I was. The one pole.
Yeah.
And
That was the thing that
I went
cracked
to the
me up
walking
is-
bridge. That pole is what, 6
Tiny.
by 6, something like that.
That's why when you told me bridge, I thought for sure you lost control trying to go under or over the interstate bridge because that's a lot of concrete and steel.
Right.
I can understand something going wrong, but when you're like, no, I hit the walking bridge, like, dude, there's like almost nothing there. How did you hit the walking bridge?
I would have loved to see like someone crossing this bridge randomly, and this drone just falls out of the sky.
You know, somebody watched that happen.
I don't know.
Just like, what the hell?
We're getting attacked.
Because between the parks on either end of that, like, there's just so much foot traffic. Because what time of day was this?
It was probably 10:30, 11 o'clock
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's dedefinitely somebody that witnessed that.
They're like, oh, sucks to be that guy. Or watch it, landed on the bridge, and they just kicked it off.
Can I help this? Sure. Do I want to? No.
It's painful. And I think I like to go out and shoot a lot of photos and videos on just any spare time. And there's a lot of, I don't know, stuff happening outside that I'm like, oh, it'd be sweet to get the drone out. And I'm like, oh, I don't have one. Never mind. Scratch that idea.
You just hold your cell phone above your head and run around going, pew, pew, pew.
Oh, so painful. That one, the more we talk about it, the more it hurts a little bit.
That's all right.
So
I think everyone who buys a drone for the first time realizes they're going to crash it horribly. Most people just don't start at $1,200 when they're getting their first one. You need to start with like the $120, like, yeah, this is going to go poorly level.
Someday this is going bad.
Air hogs.
Yeah, right. A step up from like Walmart.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's too bad.
I'm okay.
I just feel bad because it was kind of a good idea too for videos. So.
We'll try it again.
Yeah, it's one of these days.
I just got to find a better path. The interstate, that's a killer. To know, like, what do you do if I go under? Is it going to lose frequency?
Right. You have the walking bridge, but that seems precarious because it's all just like caged metal and there's always people up there.
Right. I don't know.
I say just fly right over it.
Just do it. Drop an NES game right in the middle.
Scratch the serial number off of that thing, so if it does hit a truck, you know.
Right.
That's my only recommendation.
My serial number's in the bottom of the river right now. My flight number. So
yeah.
Crash and burn.
Speaking of serial numbers, so I text that link to both you guys. Sony announced, they're like, yeah, PlayStation VR. If you want to use it with your PlayStation 5, guess what? It doesn't work unless you have an adapter. It's like, what? That's dumb because there's a PlayStation 5 camera. And they're like, yeah, It doesn't work with that. So they send you a free adapter. But anyway, they have this link where you're supposed to go out there and get the serial number off the back of your port and then enter it on their website. And their website is just the biggest hunk of shit. So like, I try it like half a dozen times because it's like, well, I don't have a PS5 yet, but obviously I'm going to want to carry this forward. And it just errors out every time, and it keeps giving me a phone number. So I'm like, okay, screw it. I've tried it enough times. Maybe somebody accidentally...
I'm calling PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe they accidentally entered one digit off and somehow used up my serial number. It happens. So I call the 800 number. It takes you through like a queue, and then it comes to a voice message, and they're like, hey, we're busy now. Can't talk to you. Thanks for understanding. Click. And I was like, what? So then I got to Twitter and then I posted it. I was like, hey, Nintendo of America, thanks a lot for this. I like that your website doesn't work and that the 800 number you drove me to hangs up on me. And then within like 5 minutes, I did like 10 random Twitter responses from people. And then I deleted my tweet because I was like, oh, this is going to turn into something I don't want. Right. So, but of one of those tweets of the 10 people who replied, one guy's suggestion was just the simple case of delete the last digit on your serial number, enter it back in, submit. He's like, I had to do it like 10 times. I was like, all right, I've done this a few times. I'll try it again. I did that about 20 times. And after about 20 times, it did finally work.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got an email I got to a section where you enter your contact info, shipping address, and then hit send. And then they send you an email that says, hey, we're looking at this. We'll talk to you later. So I in theory, I'm getting one. Maybe there's no ETA. They just said that they got my request. But what a shit show.
Yep. But we live in the world where now you can just blame everything on COVID. Like, oh, I didn't send those games. GameStop, you know how it is. COVID.
Yeah. I just thought it was just bizarre that it just couldn't natively work. because the hardware, I mean, obviously the PlayStation 5 hardware is different, but like your camera hasn't changed. And that's what it is. It's like an adapter for the camera. So it's like, how does that make a difference? I don't understand. It's weird. Unless it's like something with, unless they're anticipating you using a PlayStation 5 controller, which maybe that's it. But didn't they also say that the PS4 controller was backwards compatible? Like you could use it to play PS4 games on the 5?
Compatible.
Yeah. So it was weird, but I was like, well, I've got enough invested in this hardware that I at least need to get this adapter, but way to make it cumbersome as hell, Sony. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that sounds like a traffic issue. There was just too many people doing it at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're probably right. Because there's a couple million out there for VR for sure.
Yeah. I am kind of surprised that they just dropped that. They're just like, no, not going to happen on PS5.
Have they said that? Like they're not going to bring a new thing? Really?
Yeah, they're not doing it. They're not even going to support. They're not even going to allow anybody to make new ones for the old thing on PS5.
Well,
really? So it's dead.
Yep.
Huh.
Time to buy it all up.
Well, do you think that's because they're like going to do a new iteration, or they just have no further plans for VR? Period?
No. So like Hitman 3, I think, is coming out with VR. And that'll be PS4, PS5, and the VR is only on the PS4 version.
So what you're saying is I should just buy a Quest 2 and call it good.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Wow. Or maybe VR is dead in general. I don't know.
I guess if I had an option, I'd have a Quest 2 over my headset then. I know there's less games for the Quest 2, but it seems like a better experience with no wires. Huh, that's super disappointing. I really thought they would have like a better, potentially a wireless iteration for next gen, but I guess since Xbox never followed suit in the VR realm, like were they competing against Facebook? And Facebook's got a much better product at a cheaper price point, so. Because I don't think anyone's buying Valve's thing, right? For $1,200. That sucks. I hadn't read that. That's super disappointing to me. I was looking forward to like some new experiences, but
nope. Whatever you got, it's going to be it.
Fuck.
So that's where it's like, well, I guess you can hook it up to your new thing, but it doesn't really matter that much. It's just allowing you to play it on the new one.
So I really need to start stocking up on those VR sales then.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate's going to buy one again. Still got a bunch of games. Might as well get it.
I should.
Probably be a Black Friday sale somewhere, right?
There's still $345.
Yeah. I mean, it never hit the masses, right? So, like they don't push enough volume to really.
And I'm not
price drop.
Overly excited buying a used one for the sake of you don't know whose face this thing has been on, who tried to clean it. Yeah. Just how it's really taken care of. You know, you can buy some used ones, but I just don't think that's a route I'd go.
Right. That makes sense.
It would be nice to have, though. I really miss Meat.
I miss my VR.
I miss it.
Remember that
the Beat Saber. I really miss Beat Saber a lot. Yeah. I really had a lot of fun with that.
It's a good one. Honestly, that could be like the only thing.
Right.
But I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I've like picked up a lot of great games for it. Like I bought Shooty Fruity. I bought Super Hot VR. I mean, I have all the best stuff right now. Tetris Effect. And I have not played that in at least a year and a half.
Plug it in right now.
I mean, it's plugged in. It's ready to go. I'm lazy. Do I want to put on a headset, calibrate it, and play it, or do I just want to sit down? That's kind of what I come to.
Yeah. We've pretty much dropped off Beat Saber. And even like, I think I have the new Iron Man game. I have not played. I haven't even played it, so.
You've got a good physical library, though, right? Like, because you've kind of made a point to get the physical releases when you could.
Yeah, but that kind of stopped after a while, too, because there's not much coming out for it, for physical anyway. And if it is, it's through limited run. And
it's so hard, too, with VR, because it's like the last thing you want to do is like pull yourself out of it to switch a game. So it's like if you can just have a bunch of stuff ready digitally.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
So with the Quest 2, where's your library? Steam?
It's all tied to your Facebook profile, which is some bullshit.
It is.
There's like some software that you can do Steam.
Because you're not connecting to a computer, right?
So that's the thing is technically you can get the cable kit to convert it and hook up to your PC and it will work as like a full Oculus Rift. But yeah, and then you can tie in like Steam and all that stuff. But if you don't have that, I think it's just like it would all, even if you bought it through stores, it would still be tied to your Facebook account, right? So like if your account ever went sideways or got hacked, you'd be screwed.
Mm-hmm.
But they sell those in Walmarts and stuff. I mean, it's available like readily. I mean, I'm kind of surprised.
And what's the price point on that? $400?
$299 for
it is.
64.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's an attractive package.
Heard that.
Package. Yep.
Andy, I'm excited to hear about your GameStop
Package.
story.
Oh, yeah.
This,
so it's not something that
this is great.
personally happened to me, but it's a news story that came out that they are doing a new incentive for their employees to do a TikTok challenge where your employees form a team and do your best dance for TikTok and enter into their corporate competition.
What are you going to win?
Lack of self-respect.
There's a couple prizes, like $100 gift card, but probably the biggest thing that you can win is 10 hours additional labor hours for Black Friday week
That they'll never let you use.
But who knows? Yeah, I mean, if we'll let you work them, maybe.
Wow.
Congrats! You can work some more.
It'd be great if the third place prize was like, get your photo taken with Camelot 335.
What a joke! Why in
awful.
the world would they think that this is a good idea? This is going to work.
Week.
Right? Yeah. Oh my gosh!
So terrible.
Congrats! You won. You get to work Thanksgiving.
Busiest day of the year. Who wants turkey? Fuck it.
How is this? I mean, we say this a million times. How is GameStop still operating? Like, it just blows my mind. They lose money left and right. Their stores are dead. Their model is dead. How is this still a thing?
Thought I read a story that they're going to move to a model where they're only carrying like the top 200 games or something like that. And they're not on the shelf.
So you just walk up to the counter.
So all like the unique stuff won't be there. And older stuff won't be there. And yeah.
I feel like half their business model is just tchotchkes at this point, right? Like fucking Overwatch socks and Funko Pops and I don't know, man.
I can't believe that still keeps going on. At some point, do people's houses do they expand their houses for more of that shit?
I don't know. Look at us.
I don't know.
Nate's laundry room isn't full yet, but it's going to be.
Someday it will. I can only hope.
Of Funko Pops?
Of all Funko Pops. I only own one, and that was given to me. I never want to go down that road.
You got Jesus, right?
I got Jesus.
I own Mega Man, and I own the chick from that one game that I can't remember anymore.
So memorable, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It was a $5 clearance and like a $3 clearance. For the two that I have. Song of the Deep, that's who I have. I have that girl on her boat.
Oh, yeah.
Song of the Deep is great, by the way.
It's okay. No, it's actually really good. I saw the Guinness Book of World Records on my YouTube. I don't know, algorithm of some sort. And the one that I saw was I have the largest Funko Pop collection And it's a pretty young guy that has probably our age, and they're like, how did you get into this? Like, why? And he's got just shelves and shelves and shelves, multiple, some open, some in the box, and probably buys one to open, one to keep. And he was like, yeah, I just bought one time, and then I just kept on going. Like, and it just makes you think of like all collectors. That's really how it starts. I just bought one, thought it was cool, and then I just had to have them all.
That's just nuts. Some of those Funko people are crazy too, because then they'll like go on eBay and start buying like the blanks, where it's just like the white plastic, like before they've cast. It's basically the mold they use to cast the other ones. So like that's like the super like high level is like you get these ones that are like the blank versions of like whatever one, and it's nuts.
So it hasn't been painted, and
right.
That's it.
And then like you get the people who are like super into it before like the current incarnation of the pop took over, and it was just like the Funko bobbleheads. And like there's a whole other set of people who got in at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff is like crazy rare.
Ugh.
It's crazy. And now they got like cereal and t-shirts and keychains, and I do want a Conan keychain one.
The exclusiveness to it as well. So it's not, I mean, they have the Funkos that are available in all the stores, the GameStops, but there are some Funkos that are just they're just convention release
or region lock too by country.
Yeah. So I mean, they're forcing you to travel. I think Milwaukee did Milwaukee have like it was only going to be released at this, or maybe it was Portland. I can't remember, but it was, and I know there's some at Comic-Con that this is the only one that's getting released. And so there's a line of guys hoping to get the lottery on that. It's ridiculous.
Some of that too is such bullshit as far as like those convention specific ones, because it'll be like solid gold Joker. It's like, no, you're buying the same thing. You just painted them all gold, which is technically lazier, and you're telling me this is more valuable? Like, that's stupid.
Well, at some level, that's Funko Pop in general, because they're all look like the same fucking thing anyway.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I don't get pop. I mean, there are some pops that I'm like, oh, those are neat. Like, I was at the clearance rack at Target the other day, and they had like a Billy Madison one. I was like, oh, I like that. It's only $3. I'm not going to take that home for $3, but I'll look at it and appreciate it for 5 seconds.
It's interesting the amount of licensing deals that they can get done.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. There has to be a service that buys those blanks, and then you can send in a picture or something, and somebody makes you.
Yeah.
I'm sure that exists. Which then now you're making collectors go crazy. Because you're like, well, I got one that you don't. And they're like, oh my gosh, I need that. Start just making variants.
Well, there's that like company I saw on like PBG on YouTube. It's called like Tube Heroes or something, or Tube something. But anyway, it's not that's that. I'm getting that confused with the Tobuscus scandal thing. But anyway, there's somebody who makes like a knockoff Funko line that's just like influencers and like YouTubers, and they make like look-alike-ish kind of Funko Pop things. I was like, that's a subset of this collecting thing that didn't need to happen, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I don't understand the Peebs plastic vinyl figure.
Yeah, a little hard.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Ayo.
So you guys are into the one-ups. Did you see the Outrun Sega cab that they're coming out with a driving cabinet finally? Yeah.
Looks awesome.
I have not seen this at all.
It looks like a modified version of the sit-down Star Wars, where it's got like the extended seating and stuff.
Really?
Looks really good. I mean, it kind of felt like they were just going to, they'd already done the light gun game with Buck Hunter, so it's like racing was the only thing left that they hadn't nailed from arcades.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need one, but it's cool.
No.
Oh, yeah. That is kind of cool.
Outrun's a good game, but it probably gets pretty old pretty quick.
It looks so tiny.
Well, that's the thing is, like, did it have to be all Outruns? Couldn't they have mixed a couple other games from that era? Like, I don't know. Did it say anything about, like, haptic feedback? Because that was always the big thing with Outrun, right? It was, like, the feedback from the wheels. So I wonder if that's taken into account or not.
Or, like, when they get really old and it feels like the whole cabinet's about to break apart.
Right.
Dude, if they come out with the stand-up, like, 3-wheel super off-road, like, I'm going to have to. Like,
Yeah, you
100%,
do.
I'm going to have to. You just can't not. I want that wheel, I can just let it spin like 8 million times and grab it. It's good.
I love it.
Grab it. I don't know why I do the visual, because nobody can see it. Us. So.
There's something about that, like you said, cabinet, like whipping that wheel.
Yes.
There's an art to that game.
It's very satisfying.
Well, and it's kind of was it like a 3/4 view? So you're not quite top down.
Yeah.
And so it is a little weird when you're like turning corners, and I don't know. I love that. I love that game.
It's a great equal parts jank plus skill. Like,
Yeah.
It's impossible against a computer, but it's fun. It's great on the NES when you can get 4 people in there.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, my son is, when the girls with bathing suits come up.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, you see that, Dad? You see that? And I was like, all right, settle down. That's a bathing suit, which
I was pretty enticed by that back in the day, too. I'm not going to lie.
I had that conversation. So I have the Venice Beach Volleyball NES. What is that, an AMS release somewhere around there, or American? I can't remember. Whatever
it's a black cart.
Yeah. So I have the box for that, and it has 2 girls they're jumping in the air, and the camera is kind of under them. So you get some butt cheek there. Nope. And I went downstairs, and my son was like, hey, I got to show you something. Like, I haven't seen anything. And he's like, I got to show you this. Look it. You can see her butt cheeks. And like, he was waiting all day to tell me this. And I was like, well, I mean, she's actually wearing a bathing suit. And he's all like, yeah, but you can see her butt cheeks. And I was like, there is a tan line. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm telling Mom. And I'm like, okay.
Plus, doesn't like that have the whole like 80s like bikinis too, or like for whatever reason in the 80s, like early 90s, the like string on the side of the bottoms came like
went over your shoulder.
5 inches. Yeah, it was like way over your hip. It's like it's super sexy to show as much of the side hip as we can, and it was just like a strange design. I don't know.
I think that's back in.
Yeah, it probably is back in. Yeah, that's true. It's big in the OnlyFans crowd.
Yeah.
Speaking of pervy games, like I sent a random mystery box over to our buddy Retro Rob, and I was like, man, I need to put some like fun random stuff in here. So then I put that really like disgusting hentai game that Andy told me was okay to have in my collection, the Saturn in there, because I was like, I feel guilty owning this. I'm like, I'm going to send this porn on to Rob. He'll enjoy this Saturn pornography game, and I think he did.
Did you hear anything?
Well, yeah, he did an unboxing video and like opened it up to you. He's like, oh wow, I didn't have this one. I'm like, cool, he likes his porn. That's good. So, yeah, it was great. So I feel a little bit better about myself. Got some of the smut out of my game room, and I made somebody else happy. It's a win-win.
It is.
Yep.
Do you have anything else in your game room that you'd like to maybe part with?
Boy.
I should show up with a box. Maybe get some of those NES cards.
Yeah, I got this package.
Yeah, you
nestled
do.
firmly between my legs that you can come over and help me.
Hey, that's a joke. Anatomies. That's funny.
I did send him some I'm like sitting on PlayStation stuff that I couldn't sell at things. I was like, he likes PlayStation. I'll send him PlayStation. It was like the most random collection of things I threw in that box. And then like the whole thing was supposed to be a mystery box. And the guy at the post office made me write my return address. So I was like, well, this is dumb. You ruined it, post office. You ruined it. But whatever. He got stuffs. I got to send stuffs. It was fine. I don't know.
You still have Street Fighter 2, though, so...
Yeah. I need a physical version of Street Fighter 2. When I get my Analog Duo, I'm going to order a physical version of Street Fighter 2.
Plus, you own a Mega Touch, too. Like, at some point,
yes,
people look at you sideways when you're like, oh, what's he use that Mega Touch for at home?
I nearly purchased another Mega Touch today because somebody else in Fargo was selling another version older than the one I have for $200. And I was like, do I?
Oh,
do
I did see that.
And I almost did it. I almost pulled the trigger and it was like 150. Like, I'll come get it. And I know they would have done it, but like, no, one Mega Touch is enough. But I already know how to disable the porn games on there. So like, I'm already one step ahead. I know how to get those off of there for the kids. So, yeah. After my one marathon game of like Chippendale's Photo Hunt, the game I could not lose. I was like, I will play this once as a joke, and it went on for half an hour. I was real good at that version of Photo Hunt. Didn't enjoy it.
Jill did, though.
I don't even think she did after a while. Like, I mean, but by the time you're like 10 minutes into that, you're just like pointing at like the sixth nipple on a guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It doesn't make sense. They're not attractive men either. It's like dudes in like skin tight, like black pants, like working on a construction site. Like, it's really, nobody's getting aroused by this.
I just always think of the SNL skit with Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And Chris Farley. Yeah. The Chippendale tryouts. It's great.
It's good stuff.
That's what I picture. So if you put that in a Mega Touch, I would laugh.
Somebody should offer you this service of like submitting your own photos and then like allowing you to like have them in like custom made Mega Touch or like photo hunt games.
Gosh.
You know what
Happy
I mean?
anniversary.
Right. Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be nudes. Just like whatever, like family photos. Like that would be great. That should be a thing that somebody does.
Do it.
Shutterfly should offer that.
Shutterfly Mega Touch.
Yeah.
.com.
So I was random topic because I wanted to touch on some stuff that maybe wasn't like newsworthy because we're going to be so out of whack. But we got talking a little bit a couple episodes ago about like the old YouTube community and stuff, and we were talking about the game hunters, and like I was getting all excited, and I like the game hunters, but I realized I was confusing him in that episode, and it was probably a channel that I don't know if either of you watched, but I went back and was like looking it back up. Like, do you guys remember the Retro Hunters?
Yeah.
Like the first, check the upload date, the first edited two dudes going to flea markets looking for video games.
I vaguely may remember it.
You know, they predate the first Game Chasers episode by a year. They're way ahead of everybody else. Like,
they're better than the Game Chasers.
Yeah, I thought so too. So I started going back through some of their stuff, and I always loved their first episode. So the title of their very first episode is Retro Hunters Episode 1, Butt Stroke in a Russian. And I was like, that's how you start a series on YouTube. It's uploaded over 10 years ago now, 39,000 views. These guys walked away before the Game Chasers were even like big. Like Metal Jesus was just there. I would say it was these guys, the Game Chasers, Metal Jesus Rocks had just come in. Ryan Right Now was the other huge one, and Bithead 1000. Like that was it. Like those were the cream of the crap. Like top 5-6 dudes. You had Johnny Millennium, the happy console gamer was there, but he wasn't doing like the hunting. But I was just remembering like how awesome this channel was. There's just two dudes filming, crappy camera, going to flea markets, giving each other crap, early 20s.
The $20 challenge was the best part of that whole show, though.
Right. So you could buy something, and then the other person had to carry it around the entire day. So they would buy like posters of like Hannah Montana or like Dora the Explorer t-shirts and make them wear them. And I don't know. It was a great show. And they quit like 2 years into it. There was like this big thing on that because they had a website and they would like list all the games they found. They would also do like the nameless game challenge. But if they found a cart that had no label, they would buy it every time. Then they would do these series where they would plug them in and see what they were. was always sports games. And they like had this big thing where they just kind of like had a rant on social media and their website about how it was just like feeding into consumerism. And it was like this whole like, man, we're just sheep, man, sort of like hippie moment. I don't know. It was weird. And then they just quit and they never uploaded anything else. And, they're still sitting at 40,000 subscribers or not. No, not even. No. They're at like 8,000 subscribers. I mean, they'd have been like a huge channel had they just continued.
Yeah.
And they left at a time when finding stuff was still super easy. So it was weird that they just kind of came to this weird, frustrating end at a point where like it wasn't that hard. I guess I never understood it.
Yeah, and that was how many years ago? Their last one had to be.
So the one that
over 5.
Yeah, so the last one they ever did, let's see, if we go to their channel, not that they couldn't have taken some down, but their first upload was, like I said, 10 plus years ago. Their newest one was 8 years. So yeah, they did a 2-year run. They quit over 8 years ago. And then it was In the Mood for Mystical Ninja. And I remember that one because it's the one where they found that Vanilla Ice laser disc in that thrift store. And they bought it for the $5 challenge or the $20 challenge or whatever. But yeah, and they had a podcast, the Dudecast, 7-Star Dudecast. And it was a great channel. It's just kind of crazy that I feel like they're pretty much forgotten about. I think at the time when they left, the Game Chasers like did a video saying like, hey, there's a lot of people in the community. It was always like us versus them. And like, that wasn't a rivalry. Like, we don't want these dudes to leave. It's weird. And then, yeah, that pretty much gave way to the Game Chasers being the only edited game chasing duo out there until you got to the NES Pursuit a few years later. And then there was like the 16-bit brothers that...
Which the NES Pursuit would do the same thing, where they did the $5 challenge and, whatever. You'd had to wear something throughout the flea market. They did the label-less games. Yeah.
But I mean, these guys did it like 5
they
years
set
prior,
the tone way ahead of everybody. Speaking of old YouTubers, I jumped back 6 years in my
it's 7 almost.
This is
in
good.
Like 2
this
months.
is good.
Switches.
Go back 6 years.
Drive me nuts. It's almost 7
to episode 1 of Video Game Hunting, and I was bound and determined. And I'm quarantined right now, so I'm going to get back into it. I am going one by one on Ryan's Vidjagamer site or YouTube page and commenting on every single video, watching it from front to beginning. I'm like, man, your collection has, and that's really, I don't know. It's really cool
when I first started.
It's cool to see how your collection evolves, where you're like, wow, look at these games. And, I got 50 NES games or 100 NES games, and to see it progress to that ridiculousness behind you now, it's pretty impressive.
I mean, I think that part of it's interesting, but I think watching like how insanely introverted I was at the beginning of that and what I turned my show into.
You can see it progress though.
Right. But I mean, yeah, but I don't know. At first it was like kind of funny because like my channel, I would say is essentially dead. I haven't done a video in a year almost now. But then like at first it was like Nate's commenting on a few of the videos. It's like, haha, that's cool. Why are you doing this? I'm like, I can't believe you're watching these. Then after a while I was like, still? Because I'm replying to all these comments. I'm like, you're still doing this?
We're still doing this. And then
he's hitting videos where I'm like, I legitimately thought I unlisted this video. And then he hits another one. I'm like, also thought I unlisted this video. I'm like, I can't believe this is still live on my channel.
I love it. I love it. I love going back. And
but now the algorithm thinks you're spam because you're doing it so consistently that it's throwing you under like questionable comments. So I can't respond to some of them. I'll have to get on my computer.
Yeah, it's you can kind of see your progression. Very introverted starting out. And then
horribly,
as you take yourself less seriously, then you would throw in like a couple of jokes here and there or some like
bad
random
jokes.
Oh, so bad.
The Yuki I don't care one when I was like, what is he talking about? And I was like, oh, yep.
Yeah, and so there's so many bad jokes, but you can see you getting comfortable to what you were doing, you know, a few years ago.
I was getting better at like the concept of editing, which was not something that I had incorporated at all in the beginning, other than I had a thumbnail to like a tile to introduce it.
Right.
But like editing was not a thing. It was like me rolling footage and like, that's a video.
Right.
You know, and the funny thing is like, as I was going through some of those ones that you're watching, and you were still on the point where my videos cap out at 5 minutes. And that is literally because I had an iPhone 4. And with the operating system, with every other app deleted, just having iMovie on there, I could literally only render out 5 minutes of video at 540p. That was the best I could hope for. So like,
oh gosh,
it was once I upgraded to the 6 and I had more storage and I could hit that 10-minute mark that like kind of ticked right with the algorithm of YouTube when like I started getting more views, because I just like, I could not do anything. It was brutal. The hours I would spend rendering that out and like trying to make those videos work.
One of the coolest things about this whole thing, besides watching that progression happen,
which is then cool going for anyone listening, by the way. I don't recommend
it. No, everyone do it. Go now. Do it now. Start commenting. Let's get them going. So so now going back to my YouTube homepage, it's bringing up all these old guys, like all of the OG, I'm going to show you like pickup videos. And so I've been enjoying like guys that I didn't even know that were like, man, they were doing this, you know, 6 years ago, 8 years ago. And I've actually really enjoyed scrolling through and seeing all of that instead of a lot of the new garbage that is out and a lot of streaming and stuff like that, which there's a place for it, but I don't know. It was kind of cool to see the old
garbage,
stuff.
But it's not why you and I signed on, right? Or even Andy when he was doing it.
I like the old stuff. It's cool.
Me too.
I got to track with you through your collection, you getting your Atari Jaguar. And
I was just going to say, we get to see the episode where he becomes a Jaguar guy.
Right. Yeah. You see that. And for him for the amount he spent on that, $150, and that's with like other stuff,
a ton of stuff.
Yeah, a ton of stuff, and you're like, "Whew, I paid up $150 for this," and I'm like, "Man, in today's economy, $150, it would have been like, oh my gosh!"
Back then, I was like, I don't know if I can get diapers for my kids, right? So $150 on the spot like that was a lot. Plus, I just had such guilt, like because back then, like. And even up through probably until the last couple of years, I just set like a price. Like nothing was worth more than $2 to $5 for me. So for me to drop $150 at a garage sale, untested, unknown, like it made me sick to my stomach to do it. And like when I got home and plugged that Jaguar in and it worked, it was like this huge relief.
Yep.
And then also like a disappointment.
And you said that in the video, you're like, if it doesn't work, I might have to go back and haggle to get some money back. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works.
No, I'd have been fucked.
But man, it was just, it's cool to see that excitement. And it actually energized me.
Except they didn't have excitement in those videos back then.
I mean, like, that's not what it was about, though. That's not what it was about. It was, I could care less if someone was like, overly energetic or anything like that. It's just you get to see their progression of their collection, what they're looking for, what they're excited about, and I got kind of re-energized from it. I'm coming off of a pretty incredible interview that we had as well, and then I'm watching this and I'm like, man, this is just cool stuff, seeing that stuff, and then going through seeing all the old guys popping up, and I think it's cool.
There is something there, you know, like back then when I was doing that, there were 1,000 of me, right? And like everyone was doing it as low budget as possible, and it was great, and everyone was sharing it, and everybody was talking and commenting, and that's what made it fun. And that, you know, again, that community is not there now, or it's morphed into to stay relevant. You can't do that. I mean,
right?
You know, I don't think you've hit the stretch yet with my videos, but it was back when you'd be like, Super Nintendo collection 2010, and like that was a video and people were like, fuck yeah, I want to see your Super Nintendo. Now it's like if you did that, someone, maybe your grandma would click on that. Like nobody else is gonna watch that.
I just started your I think it's NES collection where you go
that one's
one
so
by
bad.
one.
Oh, it's awful. There's
One by
like boogers
one.
on some of them. There's like big cruddy shit. It's bad.
Yeah, I think I'm on part 1.
Yeah, you enjoy that. The best is my 25-cent sale haul from Pawn America, where I have like 500 games. I'm like, got this one, 3 of these. Here's this one, and it's like 2 fucking 25-minute videos. It's just brutal.
I love it.
But that picture of the futon is like totally worth it.
Yeah, that was great. Still the greatest haul. Maybe not rarity, but I mean, there was some rare stuff in there.
Yeah.
Dollar for dollar. It was an insane deal. I paid for my trip to Portland. So, yeah. And he's like, hey, want to go to Portland? I'm like, yes, but I just got back from Disneyland. He's like, funny thing, I accept video games. I'm like, all right, let's go.
And they're still in Andy's collection today.
At least all those Sega Sports games I gave you are. For
Some
sure.
of them are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to go back to the YouTube nostalgia trip, but I just think that's cool. It
was kind of fun, to be honest, like, because I don't go back and visit those videos. So, like, when you would comment on them, I would watch them, or at least
I know you
watch them.
It was part of my reasoning that you're going to have to figure out what I'm talking about in my comments.
Yeah. You were really upset that I didn't buy those Michael Jackson games, though. There's like 3 comments on those.
Every time that he goes to like Kmart, Target, he's like showing what's on the clearance rack, and he passes up a Michael Jackson like singing, what is it, a Wii game or whatever it is, and he passes it up every time, and so I call it out. Oh, you missed another one. It was there. You almost had it. It's hilarious.
You got to be coming up to the Andy episode pretty soon.
Should be.
I think you hit the flea market episode where Andy and I connected, because that one went to Mobile Game World.
Yep.
Because I sent them an email. I was like, hey.
Yep, I love that.
I'm a dork, but here's this thing I filmed with your crap. Bye. And they were nice enough to post it. So, yeah. I miss it. That was a big deal for me. Like, that was like my thing, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't have the community and the podcast and people to talk with about it. So, like, I don't know.
That's cool.
Those little videos were cool, although they're awful.
They are not great, but they're pretty awesome.
I'm just kidding. They're bad. There's
rough. Some that are like, ooh, this one's missing. But
lighting, fuck it. Get my whole head in the frame. Fuck that. Like, film it. Just go. I'm like, I watched that one whole video. I'm like, the top of my head is cut off.
Yep.
This entire video, the top of my head is cut off. Like, what was I doing?
But it didn't matter. It didn't matter back then. That's my point. Yeah, it didn't matter.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be other things to talk about, right? I mean, we've got a whole month of topics between now and when this airs to talk about.
Speaking of, I have a pickup that blew my mind.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm excited. Got sweaty.
Target clearance had Minecraft for Xbox 360.
Okay.
For $5.99.
Is that a good deal?
I'm like, whatever. I'm sure it'll be fine $6, why not?
Right.
It's sealed. That's selling for $70 now.
Why? Just because you can't find it on store shelves, I suppose?
I don't know.
Holy shit.
Was it just one or a whole bunch?
Just one. But it's like the most common 360 game, probably. Right?
Oh, for sure. One of them. Everybody had that.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
can still buy it for $20.
I'm sure that is all it is, though, is you can't walk into like a Walmart and find it anymore. So they're like, well, if I want a new copy.
But it's still digital for $20. Right. They're never going to stop selling it for that.
That's true. Yeah.
That's crazy.
100%. I had a little bit of luck at Target clearance. So I had last week off. So I was kind of just like jockeying kids to school and stuff and putzing around throughout the day because my wife is working from home. So I didn't even get to dive into my games in my game room because this is where she works. So I would just go like dick around, and I spent a couple days doing Target clearance. Scouted it out on like Monday. They had a bunch of stuff at like the 50% off. So I went back on Thursday. I was like, odds are these things are going to be marked down soon because it seems like they kind of move within a week. And sure enough, they had all their video games marked down. So I got that Disney Lion King Aladdin thing.
Yep.
For like
Switch?
$8. No, PS4.
Okay.
So I got that for like $8. I bought a bunch of those clearance controller extenders for the Super Nintendo Mini, and then
For $1 or something.
Yeah, it was $1.79, and then randomly I bought whatever the last Star Wars movie was. They have like Target has those like weird Walmart like bundle editions of everything. Like
Target has the Walmart bundles.
Or not Walmart. That's not the word I'm looking for. Disney,
like,
Disney, which is very close to Walmart. They have the weird Disney and Walmart bundles.
Yeah.
So they get the weird Disney packaging and stuff. And it was like $8 for like the newest Star Wars movie. And I was like, I'll never watch this because it was hot trash, but I'm buying it because it's cheap, and I did. So I don't know. I'm excited for the Disney games at least, but it's so hard to find shit in. I mean, there's still clearance, right? But like they carry so little that you never find like the hauls. Like I remember
they don't have to move it.
Right. I remember going to those like Targets, and like every once in a while you hit a store and it'd be like a whole end cap with hundreds of games for $5.
Now it's $14.99 and up.
Yep. Right. Yeah, it's bullcrap.
When was the last time you saw a Walmart with a bin of games? I don't think they do the bins of games anymore.
The last one that you pointed out to me in DL, which would have been, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
3, 4? It's been a while. I kind of miss that. And I've only ever seen it happen in Fargo once. I just bought a shit ton of games, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Physical media is going away, so you can't find those like bulk deals because nobody overstocks.
Right.
I just threw up a mouth a little inside baseball for anyone listening.
It's pretty sickening.
Yeah. Yes. It's very disappointing. That's why that happened. Yeah. I did get in a game that I have not played yet, but we should do a video. I ordered in this Billionaire Banshee from Mega Cat Studios. I think most people are familiar with Mega Cat at this point. They put out a ton of stuff like Little Medusa and Coffee Crisis. A lot of their stuff's on Switch now. With this Billionaire Banshee is like an adult party game. I guess it's a tabletop game. And I ordered it for the NES. Somebody ported it, and 2 to 8 players. And basically, like you're supposed to play with friends, like knowing each other, and like couples knowing each other. But you're supposed to enter it as if everyone is a single person, and like looking to date and stuff. And it'll like ask you weird questions, like, would you accept the ability of time traveling if it meant you could no longer wipe your ass? And then like you have to answer it and then pass the controller down to the next person, and they have to like see how well they know you. So it basically just like sets you up to disturb your friends and family horribly. So I'm kind of looking forward to giving that a shot here soon.
What is this on?
It's on the NES.
NES.
Yep. So, and the cover art was great. It's just like a giant smiley face on a blue label. So pretty cute. I don't know. I remember watching it on Guys, Games, and Beer a while back, and they were playing it. I was like, oh, I need this. And then I was just bored last week with a week off and shopping on stuff, and it's like, hey, I'll get that. It was cheap enough.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I saw Retro USB had announced orders for 8-Bit Christmas 2020, which they're doing a reskinned Dr. Mario called like Dr. COVID. So I forwarded that link to my wife. So hopefully that's coming soon. Easy Christmas shopping.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer, that game.
It's a classic. I don't even think I've played... I may not have played the last one I got. 8-Bit Christmas. Trying to even think. 2019, what was it? Nope, have not played it. It was Study Hall. Never played it. That's great. In fact, I think I'm missing one. 2018. Yeah, I got one out of order. There we go. 2017's out of order. I don't know. They're cool games, though. I like them. They're fun. And they go up in value a lot.
Yeah. Those first ones go for a crazy amount, don't they?
I know. I wish I'd have gotten in on like 2008. I think the earliest one I've got is 14. Which is the one that makes your Robs dance, which is still cool. I should try that. I have Robs.
I'll bring my one over.
You can have 3 Robs dancing.
I have one.
Let's army build in.
We can have a Rob party.
It's exactly like it sounds.
Can you connect more than one Rob?
Yeah. Yeah, they had a promo video for it where they had like 20 of them sitting on the floor and they were like dancing in unison. It was hilarious. Right. Yeah.
I want it so they pass around the disc. That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in a circle, just keep passing that disc around.
But then you like replace it with a bong. So they're all like doing bong hits. That's what the people want.
Yeah.
It's funny. Well, do we have more topics? I'm trying to think. Day of the Tentacle. You can talk about this, Andy.
Oh, yeah. Since Xbox bought Double Fine, they have access to all those old adventure games that they made. So they finally just threw them up on Game Pass, and I never played most of those. And started playing that one. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of knew it was a sequel to Maniac Mansion, but it's straight up going back to the same mansion for the most part.
I have played just a little bit of that one because I think it was either really cheap on a PlayStation Plus deal, like the remaster, or it was free at one point. So I know I have it on PS4. Obviously, I can play it now on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great art style on that one.
Mm-hmm. My kids are loving it, trying to, they're at that age where it's like you can see the, cogs in their head trying to figure out how to use the pieces to figure out the puzzle. And because a lot of that game is just throwing shit at the wall to see if it works too.
Yeah, for sure. Any hamsters to throw into microwaves?
I do have a hamster. I have not taken it to the microwave yet. They definitely address how this is a second hamster. And the guy's like, I'm not sure what happened to my other hamster.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think I still need Maniac Mansion for the NES. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So they threw some other ones out there too.
When I get that far.
Yeah, good point. Yes. Unless I picked it up in the last 2 years, in which case it didn't make it into a video.
That's true. It's still sitting in a pile in the corner.
Or it went on the shelf. I had a bunch of good stuff too, like my Nomad and good stuff. Oh well. I don't know. I think probably an episode is the time.
Mm-hmm. I think
it's time.
I have some videos to watch after this, so
yeah, you do.
Yeah, I don't
Episode 1. I'm going to give you a shout out.
I'm going to watch Retro Hunters 2. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, friends, we appreciate you listening. Do we have any emails? We got one last time. Any emails?
No new email, but it's probably just because we recorded just last week, so we haven't allowed enough time, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah, not a lot of time to check all of that. So, friends, thank you for sending those emails. Or, friend, thank you for sending that email. We're still waiting on some more. Feel free to send it to weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're following us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of those great places. And no, not as always, friends. I missed. You can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. Now, friends, as always, be kind. Rewind.
Bananas.
Butt stroking or ocean.
Spicy chicken nuggets.